up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the Debate Mates. I'm Matthew Swanenberg, and I'm joined by the caveman himself.
Oh, yeah, you already know.
Nathan Poplin. He has not shaved or gotten a haircut, apparently, since our last video, it would seem.
You're just jealous I can grow facial hair.
Speaking of our last video, it's been a while. It's been like a month-ish.
About, yeah. Lots of things have changed.
So lots of things have changed. Lots of teams have gone on streaks. One team has lost by 73 points. A lot of records have been broken, and a new record looks to be broken pretty soon with Curry on the only, I think, 10 away from breaking Ray Allen's record for all-time three-pointers made. So a lot of crazy things happening recently in the NBA. And without any further ado, let's hop into the craziest thing that's happening in the NBA, which is the situation happening in Portland right now, which I feel like we've been talking about forever, but still gets weirder and weirder every day.
Yeah.
Now, just to recap, CJ Mccollum has a collapsed lung.
Which is a weird, to me, I don't know if you thought, but a pneumothorax is a very weird basketball injury that I don't think I've heard. Like, man was playing ball and and his lung collapsed. Like, I could understand football. Like, in football, pneumothorax is probably more common.
He was fighting Bane in his free time.
Like, apparently just punctured his lung at some point.
It's a weird basketball injury, but he punctured his lung, so I don't know if that...
Yeah, we wish him the best because that's a very serious injury that could cause serious implications in the future. So I hope he's doing much better.
Right, but anyways, I don't know.
Recovery.
Another bad thing about that, aside from the actual injury itself, is it comes in the midst of the time when CJ McCollum has been talked about in trades the most probably in his career. The Blazers' former GM, Neil O'Shea, was fired during some investigations into conduct in the office. Probably should have been fired before that for just not being a great GM and letting this Blazers team be the 8 seed for like 4 years in a row. But anyways, a lot of trade talk around CJ McCollum and, of course, around Damian Lillard because the Blazers are struggling. Damian Lillard is out with an abdominal injury, which has kept him out for a while. An injury that he supposedly had before in his career, but this is the first time it's ever kept him out. Which
your two best players are dealing with pretty serious injuries. Not a good look for Portland.
And Blazers are currently, I believe, 11-13.
11-15.
11-15.
So the 11th seed in the East or the West.
Nate, just a simple question here: should their first look be to trade Dame? Or should it be to try to put a contender around Dame, whether that be getting a Ben Simmons or whatever?
Well, based on Dame's reaction to all this and all the rumors, and it seems like he makes it very clear he has no intention of going, I don't think you trade Dame Lillard. I think it's easier. I think Dame is, even though CJ is obviously the second best player on this team, right? I still think very much so Dame Lillard has a very big edge on CJ McCollum as an overall player, and I think Dame is committed to making this thing work and getting a championship with Portland before going off and joining the Nets or the Heat or what have you to get a championship. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. So I think trading C.J. McCollum out, this is not the first time these rumors have come. C.J. McCollum, like, it happens. Like, there were talks of, I don't know if you remember, talks of Bradley Beal, C.J. McCollum swaps back in the day, you know what I mean? So this isn't the first time he's dealt with this. Will they actually pull the trigger? I don't know. I hope so. Something needs to change. Like, we were I keep coming back to Toronto. Like when I saw that DeMar DeRozan was traded for Kawhi Leonard, I was like, oh my God, why would you do that? You're constantly in playoff contention, top of the East every year. But that simple change let him do a ring, you know. So who's to say that? I don't think the same thing will happen to Portland. Portland's in a much worse scenario and a situation as a team. But I think a change of scenery for somebody to Portland, it might put something better around Dame Lillard, possibly a forward like Domantas Sabonis. Be a very interesting move, wouldn't you say?
That would be a very interesting
I don't know what you trade, CJ, a couple picks, and maybe another nice young player, maybe even more to get it done. I don't know, because I think Sabonis in a way does also kind of have a weird kind of market. I don't know exactly what price you put on Sabonis at the moment.
Pacers are another team that are looking to sell now, so we'll get to them a little bit later. And this might be a weird take. It's a take I don't think I've ever seen anyone have.
Ooh, I'm excited.
It's a take I'll say anyways. I feel like right now Damian Lillard is kind of being a little bit selfish in this scenario. Because Portland definitely has not been great to him. They have not put the pieces necessary around him to let him compete for a championship. But that
he got
being
close
said,
a couple years ago.
It seems like he's kind of putting his pride ahead of his team because he's going to hold them back a lot if he doesn't say for sure, I want to get traded. Like, if he stays and they try to put a contender around him, then that's just going to mess him up in the future, I think. Unless the contenders you put around him are like Ben Simmons, which could have happened at this point. I mean,
but we all know I'm not very big on Ben Simmons.
Well, I just don't think that trade is realistic.
No.
Because it's been in the works or in talks for
don't get me wrong,
7 or 8 months.
Embiid and Dame would be,
or CJ and Dame,
or CJ and Embiid. That would be pretty darn nice, and that could get the whole. Another thing that's been plaguing the Sixers is just the whole Ben Simmons situation since the summer. You know what I mean? So get that off their chest. Ooh, breath of fresh air. But yeah. So what you're trying to say is basically he's trying to make it seem like his mentality is I'm not a ring chaser, and you think that might honestly be selfish and interfering. Like he doesn't care about the team as much as he cares about putting out the impression that he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Except you said it a little bit better than I said it because. If Dame said trade me, or it doesn't have to make it public. If he just went to the new GM and said, "Hey, I'm ready to go. Do whatever is best for the team," I understand. Then I think they could really get a nice rebuild in because Dame is going to warrant a big package back.
100%.
Whether it be from Philadelphia and you get Ben Simmons involved, or the Celtics and you get Jaylen Brown involved.
If only.
Or I don't know. I'm trying to think of other teams with young talent. Or contenders with young talent at that too. Let me look at these standings. Miami, not really quite as much young talent, but there are just so many teams that would definitely be interested in getting a Damian Lillard. Clippers as well.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Dallas. So if he said I'm ready or do what's best, then they could immediately start a rebuild and probably be put in a position where they could have the best young talent moving forward for the next 5 to 10 years. Because CJ will warrant a lot too, even though he's having a career worst year at this point really. Only 21 points per game, 42% from the field. But he'll still get a lot back.
But the other teams, honestly, that could make such a difference.
Right.
So even his career worst can make a difference to some of these
and
younger
Nurkic
teams.
is kind of a weird player at his peak. He's pretty good. At his worst, he's not great. But he'll still get like a team like Charlotte, a team that's looking for a big man. There's definitely a market for him, maybe even in Dallas. Or if the Clippers look to upgrade from Ivica Zubac. So there's a market for him, too. Yeah. Guys like Robert Covington, veterans like him, there's a market for him. They have 4 really, really attractive trade pieces, one of which is probably the most attractive trade piece in the league right now.
I just don't know if Portland is willing to pull the plug on Dame Lillard themselves. You know what I mean? I mean, trading away your star player can sometimes be a thing that's like, oh my God, unthinkable. But sometimes it is needed.
Well, and the other thing that makes this more difficult is the interim GM is just that. He's just the interim GM.
Yeah, he's not staying around.
Well, not that, but the interim GM doesn't come in and say, first order of business, trade our Lillard. Get rid of our franchise cornerstone, the face of the franchise for the last 7 or 8 years. That is a gutsy move to make as a first move as general manager. And that's a move I don't think he would feel comfortable making or be given.
Unless he just loves to see chaos. Just throw a wrench and everything and just dip.
But one thing with CJ McCollum is Neil O'Shea, one of the reasons that CJ McCollum seemed to be so untouchable with the Blazers, even though his name came up a lot, is that was like his guy. Because that was one draft pick that Neil O'Shea made that he nailed.
That was a hit.
So he was his pride and joy. He couldn't trade him. But now another general manager might not have that same emotional attachment.
No. It's going to be very unbiased because they didn't draft the guy. You know what I mean? They're going to look at it objectively, what's best for the team. That's why they've been hired.
Right.
To look objectively, because that's the problem. Like I'm a fan of good relationships between players and front office, but sometimes it can be detrimental. Yeah, I mean, like you see the same thing across other sports too. You know what I mean? So it's
at this point, I think the Portland Trailblazers should start with trading Dame. It's probably not a popular take, but I
get a nice package for him back and then mold and see what you can do with that. Like I think you're gonna get some nice pieces and picks back regardless.
Right.
Like you have to. There's no way you're not.
So I just think you start there, which may seem crazy, but Dame is not.
Do you think there's any way they trade both of them?
Dame and CJ?
Yeah.
I think if one goes, the other one... If CJ goes and they don't improve immediately, then it's probably over the offseason that Dame gets moved. If Dame goes, then there is a 1,000% chance CJ is out. If Dame is the first domino to fall, then I would guarantee that McCollum, Covington, and Nurkic at least don't end the season as Portland Trailblazers.
Abandon ship.
Because that would basically signal the end of the franchise for at least the next couple of years.
Yeah, then you probably do enter a decent rebuild mode. And then it's like, all right, side on the prize, start with a brand new set of people.
Situation.
Yeah.
So I think you.
Do you think though? I got a question for you. Do you think they could get a package similar to what Anthony Davis with the Pelicans got for Anthony Davis? Or do you think that might be asking too much?
I don't think they'll
Of like a Sixers or a Celtics or a team like that.
I don't think they'll get quite that much. Clearly, that's what Philadelphia is looking for with the Ben Simmons, or that's what Philadelphia wants.
Yeah,
It's
that's
an Anthony Davis type deal for Ben Simmons.
Dame Lillard, Ben Simmons.
Dame Lillard is definitely a better player than Anthony Davis, I think, at this point in the season. Although both are kind of in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
But I don't think he warrants that. I also think because of the drama that surrounded the Lakers, there was more pressure on them to immediately do the deal because they had like the tampering fines, the trouble with Magic Johnson. So it was kind of like, if we get these tampering fines, if our general manager and president of basketball operation just dips and we have nothing to show for it other than a 30-plus-year-old LeBron and some random young guys, then we're going to be in a pretty rough situation. So they kind of had to do something just to show LeBron, like, hey, this is crazy right now, but this is what we can be.
I don't know. Plus, Dame's really not getting any younger. He's got to be like 29, 30 now, right?
He's definitely getting up there.
Yeah.
But
that's just another. I'm not saying that's going to be a huge factor, but like, because Anthony Davis is only maybe like 4 or 5 years younger. Actually, that does make it.
Makes
Never mind, because I always forget Anthony Davis, I think, is like 1 year older than Giannis or something. He's like 26, 27.
Giannis just turned 27 the other day. He had 27 points in 27 minutes on his 27th birthday. Pretty insane stuff.
You love to see it.
You love to see
you
it.
love to see it from the reigning NBA champion.
So that's what I got on the Portland side of things. On a 4-game losing streak right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the play-in and the Western Conference is both conferences, but the West is so just jam-packed right now that anything could happen. I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4 seed might be a little out of reach, but that's about it.
There's definitely, these are the 2 seeds, and the play-in spots are definitely for grabs. Easily for grabs,
but Dame,
as of right now.
He's having probably his worst season of his career right now, and whether that's because of trade talks or whatnot, just not looking great, not shooting well from the field or from 3. I think career low 21 points per game. Not career low, but 21 points per game right now. So I think you got to just move on. You got to abandon ship, and you just got to hope that Damian Lillard is enough to get a solid starting pack. And then with CJ, Covington, and Nurkic, you can build off of that and go from a really, really good return just for Dame to all of a sudden like a roster of good returns. And I think that's definitely possible with Portland.
But knowing Portland, they might find a way to just
mess it up. Yeah, that would be very on brand for the Portland Trailblazers.
I'm sorry, Portland fans that watch our videos, but like I have a soft spot for Portland, but it's just it's talked about. like some franchises just have a way of being put in a perfect situation from trading a player or signing, and then all of a sudden does nothing with it, and all of a sudden no wonder those fans are upset and unhappy. This team was vying for a final spot, and now they're here. You know what I mean?
I mean, they got swept by the Warriors. I don't know if they were vying for a final spot.
I mean, they made it. Dang it. They made it to the Western Conference Finals.
But you know what's crazy? Let's just look at these standings and see all of these teams that have improved so much more before the Blazers improved. Phoenix improved a ton before the Blazers improved. Made it further in 1 year after one trade than the Blazers
Still looking like
ever
a powerhouse. My goodness.
Utah improved before Portland improved because Portland was in that same spot with Dame
Memphis.
forever. Memphis.
That's a big one. Memphis.
The Clippers improved. The Lakers have improved. The Mavericks have gotten better than the Trailblazers. The Nuggets have gotten better. The Nuggets are the team the Blazers beat in this conference semifinals.
I think I'd be more upset that Minnesota's above my franchise.
Well, I'm just talking on a yearly basis. These 8 teams, minus Memphis last year and Phoenix a couple years prior, have basically been better than Portland. That's crazy. They made the conference finals, and since then have plateaued, and the other teams behind them have gotten better.
I don't know. To me, they just have a really weird roster. Like some of your supporting pieces are like Dennis Smith Jr. and I mean like Nasir Little, who I'm not the highest on. I don't even know. I don't think he's been all that really for them since draft. The Zion stopper, I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got some really weird pieces that you traded Gary Trent away. Norman Powell's been fine. I think Anthony Simons is fine.
Powell's another guy I didn't even think of who will get a good package.
Yeah,
I think.
he'll get somewhere good. He's still a valuable piece. Just like I think Rocco and Nurkic are still valuable pieces somewhere. Some team will benefit from them.
All right, let's move on to the Portland Trailblazers of the East, the Indiana Pacers, who also have been in no man's land for the past 5 to 6 years. Indiana's situation is slightly worse than the Trailblazers. They are 11-16, currently on a 2-game winning streak after shellacking the Knicks last night, beating them by 20 points.
Which made Stephen A. Smith lose his mind. I don't know if you saw how mad he was.
I am done with Stephen A. I'm gonna be honest.
He got rid of my boy Max. I haven't recovered from it.
So, anyways, the Indiana Pacers have basically said we're gonna just clean house. Karis LeVert, Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner, especially.
Some really nice pieces. Malcolm Brogdon, you got some really nice pieces on this organization. This team should not be as bad as it is.
They're so close in their games, though, and at this point, I don't blame them for wanting to blow it up. Nathan, if you want to look at this from another team's perspective as what teams should be reaching out to them for these pieces, or if you want to look at to the Pacers' perspective, what do you think is the move, either from a team looking for one of these guys or from the Pacers'
There's a couple teams that probably need to be looking at. One is the team that should have had a trade for one of their stars a year or two ago. I forget which. I can't remember if it was last season, I believe, which was freaking Boston. My Celtics should have jumped on Miles Turner. Heck, I would have even been cool with Sabonis. You probably would have had to throw Jaylen Brown in, but I would have been cool with Sabonis too, honestly. I think a couple teams need to jump at this opportunity. Karis LeVert, too, is somebody that should not be wasting his days away in Portland. Miles Turner, I think, could fit in a plethora of spots, honestly. If Pelicans didn't already have Valanciunas, I would have loved to see Miles Turner in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Boston's a perfect spot. What else? Who else is a really good spot
it throws me
for
off
Miles Turner?
That Valanciunas is on the Pelicans.
Yeah, I know. And Steven Adams is in the Grizzlies.
Because they feel like they're not really that different of teams.
No. And that's just a weird swap. He feels weird in Memphis, and he's been freaking incredible, even though they're
Yeah.
It's none fault of Valanciunas. He's been balling his heart out. That one game, I forget, he was like 7 of 7 for 3 in like the first half or something. My man was going crazy with it. So he's really been the real shining piece in this team. So there's a couple teams. I'm sure you can think of a couple teams that like Miles Turner or Sabonis. Sabonis in Portland would be wild if you can get that trade done somehow.
Oh, I can throw out a couple for you real quick.
Oh yeah, throw out some other teams because I'm sure there's plenty other ones.
Sabonis or Miles Turner in Charlotte. Charlotte needs a big man.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one.
That would be really, really insane to get Sabonis paired with LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, who's having a breakout year. Kelly Oubre Jr., who's played pretty well.
That team is a fun team to watch.
I
really enjoy watching the games they play.
Them games,
you already know.
The Wizards kind of have the depth to the point where they could potentially swing for a Sabonis or Turner.
I know I've said it, but what a shock they've been this year. Kuzma with that game-winning shot.
Last night, that was incredible.
Sent the Pistons home crying?
The Mavericks could use a Miles. I'm a huge Moses Brown fan, but if you're going to bury him on the bench, you might as well get Miles Turner.
You might as well get a starter. If you're not, Moses Brown is really good, though.
Or you might as well get... I don't think they
I wish Boston would have kept him.
I know. I'm moving downward. Sacramento, I could use them for sure.
Sacramento is another team that's just I want to feel bad and I want to have a soft spot for them, but that's a place right now I feel like where career's gonna die.
Right.
I'm sorry. Tristan Thompson's there. You know what I mean? It's just his career's over. Sacramento seems like a stepping off. If you're an NBA player and your GM walks up to you and is like, "We're trading you to Sacramento," are you happy?
No.
This speaks for itself. But yes, I think he would be a good fit. It's just God, I would hate to be him. I think he'd hate to be him in that scenario.
And they could trade one of their young wings, Davion Mitchell, Buddy Hield. I think Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know who you would want to have because I don't think Halliburton or Davion Mitchell have shown face of the franchise type talent or potential. And Buddy Hield definitely has not. And if you're trading for Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner, that's definitely because you want to pair them with De'Aaron Fox. They could have the best lefty duo in the league, potentially, if they get Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox.
Here's the dealio, though. I don't know if Sacramento does this, but if I'm trading Sabonis, not Miles Turner, I think in this scenario, if I'm trading Sabonis to Sacramento, I want Halliburton.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
That's the one. That's the young piece. You're not asking for De'Aaron Fox, but I'm also not asking for necessarily Harrison Barnes to be the main piece of this trade, or Tristan Thompson or somebody like that. Yeah. Alex Lynn. Halliburton would be an interesting one. I just don't know if Sacramento's willing to part with him.
On the Philadelphia side, I think Malcolm Brogdon would be a great fit in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. He's an elite wing defender. He can shoot it pretty well.
Are we thinking of Malcolm Brogdon, Ben Simmons trade?
I'm thinking along those lines. But Philadelphia and I'm blanking on the name. Robert. what is his last? Robert Morey. No, it's Robert's son. It's Daniel Morey. What? I've lost my mind.
It's fine. It happens. Just let the brain fart happen.
I know his last name is Morey, and that is all that matters right now. And hopefully it comes to me or comes to you in a little bit. But this is really throwing me for a loop. The 76ers GM, whatever his name may be.
Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey, that's it. I was close with Daniel.
It just came to me too, so don't feel bad.
So Daryl Morey.
Daniel Morey. Yes, sir.
Daryl Morey, the Philadelphia GM, has been extremely picky, apparently, with his trades for Ben Simmons, which leads me to believe a Malcolm Brogdon will not cut it. If a CJ McCollum didn't
he's been a bit too picky, which maybe to me reveals a hesitancy to trade him. And it seems like if you really want this much for Ben Simmons, either you're just not looking at it realistically and objectively as a GM, or there's still a part of you that wants to repair this relationship and keep him around. Which personally I wouldn't. I just send him out the door. We're getting Malcolm Brogdon some picks. Bye-bye. So long.
Yeah, I agree. I would 100% do that deal. If I
Again, that lifts off the player's shoulders because you can obviously see that, like, Embiid and they say he's our brother and everything, but you can obviously see and just the way they carry themselves when they talk about the situation that they're getting annoyed and that they're frustrated and they're tired of this. So.
And how about Kyrie Irving is a confusing player to me because. Obviously, he warrants, when he's out there playing, a huge amount of talent in return. Now, there's news that if there's a vegan COVID vaccine, he would potentially be willing to be talked into.
Oh, is that the news? A vegan has to be a vegan? See, I just think he's more hassle at this point in his career than he's worth.
Well, he's not necessarily willing to get it. He's willing to be talked to about getting it.
Yeah, so he hasn't even agreed. Like, if it's a vegan vaccine comes out, I'm just only going to think about it, but I still reserve the right to say absolutely not.
So, and, I mean, if you're trading Kyrie, I guess, in theory, even, I don't know, Herb Jones, just throwing out a random name, is better for the Brooklyn Nets than Kyrie Irving because at least he could suit up. So, really, you're winning any Kyrie Irving. That's another one that's annoying.
Because KD is sick to his stomach with this whole situation.
Yeah, especially with Harden underperforming.
He was talked into coming here at Brooklyn with Kyrie, and now all of a sudden Kyrie, like, in your first year, played second year, now doesn't want to get a vaccine that most players get. He's not worth it anymore.
But he's so good.
He's so good when he has a clear head and he's actually willing to play. When he's actually willing to play and he wants to be out there, he's a phenomenal player. He's one of the most exciting and electrifying point guards the game has ever seen. Kyrie Irving and the 2016 freaking NBA Finals in the playoffs, him with LeBron, like Kyrie Irving was so much fun to watch. That was like the most, even with Curry, that was the most fun player to watch in the court.
When Kyrie is healthy, I think he's a top 10 player in the NBA, which might seem like a stretch.
And no, that's a very valid debate.
Incredible.
When he's actually healthy and not doing these stupid things, not talking about his flat earth or refusing to get a vaccine, like, because his team needs him, even though they are doing fairly well. I mean, they're doing fairly well without him.
We think of Golden State as Phoenix is so far above the rest of these teams, but Brooklyn's only 4 losses away.
KD's going absolutely nuts. KD's doing what KD does, the best player in the league, mind you. 100%. Best player in the league, Slim Reaper.
Lies told.
It's just, I think you get a healthy Kyrie to the 7 and 8 team. These teams, these Golden States and Phoenix are shivering in their boots.
Yeah.
With this 3 playing at its best, that is the scariest trio in the NBA. I think the scarier trio, to me, this might be a stretch. I don't know how people are going to feel about this.
You're going to say in NBA history?
No, this is a scarier trio to me than LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh.
I
when fully healthy
agree.
And playing, they are scary. Nobody wants to play this trio.
Absolutely dismantled the Bucks in Game 1, and Harden got injured at the beginning, but it just shows how good they are when they're together.
Yeah, and also the centerpieces around them, like you got Joe Harris, you got Aldridge, like these are solid pieces.
Joe Harris concerns me a lot because there have been absolutely no updates about his ankle.
Yeah.
Because he turned it, I think it was against Atlanta maybe. Mm-hmm. It was the game before they played Golden State, so about a month-ish ago. And
it's radio
I didn't
silence.
know how serious it was. It just kind of got swept under the carpet for a while.
Yeah, it must be pretty serious.
And then a week or two ago, they were like, oh, he's getting surgery. And then I went on Twitter, Shams, everybody, Joe Harris, timetable. And as far as I saw, there was no timetable, just maybe.
You say this and it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. But that concerns me a lot because they need. It sounds crazy with a team with KD and
I know,
Harden,
but you
they
need
Joe Harris.
supportive cast. You
Yeah.
just do. Like any big three also had a semi-decent supporting cast around them. People that could step up and do their jobs relatively well. Joe Harris is that next supporting piece.
And we've already seen since Patty Mills has had to fill his role in the starting lineup, his 3-point percentage has dipped from near 50 to a measly like 44.
I don't know. The only thing that worries me about them is I feel like players like Claxton and Bruce Brown have regressed in comparison to last season.
Claxton is terrible.
Which is sad because last year I loved Claxton. I thought Claxton had a bright future, and right now I'm just like, Nicholas Claxton.
Claxton has no hands.
Bruce Brown I thought was going to be better. Bruce Brown, I'm not saying is horrible for Bruce Brown fans, but like I feel like
he should be starting over DeAndre Bembry. You would have hoped that he would be.
Yeah, over DeAndre Bembry, like.
Steve Nash just does so many questionable things as a coach, like benching Blake Griffin. Like, I understand. Trust me, I understand. As someone who wants to watch the Nets win, that Blake Griffin was pretty rough. But I still prefer him 100 times over Paul Millsap. I don't know how any player falls for a Blake Griffin pump fake. It is not a good pump fake, and he shoots like 16% from 3 on the season. But it worked a couple times.
Which is still crazy to me because his Detroit days, his first season in Detroit where he was...
He catfished everybody.
I almost just like he was shooting, I want to say he was shooting close to like high 30s, low 40% from like the field and 3. And like he was going off and then all of a sudden like... Here we are.
Yeah.
This seems to be a common theme amongst a lot of players in the league.
Do you have anything?
Lots of catfishing.
Do you have anything left to add with Indiana, or should we move on and talk about some of these miscellaneous?
Let's talk some of the other teams because I think Indiana's just a mess, and like they're gonna blow it up. I have a feeling. I don't know who goes first. I don't know if they both go this season or they don't both go at all. Like in terms of Sabonis and Miles Turner, for all I know, Karis LeVert and Brogdon will be gone first. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's just we really don't know. Another team, I don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger. I hope they do because they could probably use it. And you got like I really like what I've seen on like Chris Duarte.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they have some pieces there still. It's just obviously what's going on with the running right now is not working.
Yeah.
So it's just not cutting it. So changes need to be made.
So moving along, looking at these standings that I have in front of me right now, and this is a topic that's come up on some basketball podcasts I've listened to recently, and I want to get your take on it. So the Chicago Bulls, although they are dealing with some extreme COVID protocols right now.
Yeah, now Derrick Jones is.
Yep, and DeMar is out for 10 days. But they're still number 2 in the Eastern Conference.
They are a powerhouse.
And I just want to know, Nate, if you had to rank, if you had to rank the 3 top teams in the East, does Chicago fall in that top 3? They're number 2 right now, but come playoff time.
Oh, 100%.
Are they a conference finals team?
Yes.
Do you think they'll make the conference finals, or are they just conference level talent?
They have the ability to make the conference finals. Will they against will they make it up there with Milwaukee and Brooklyn, who are my other 2?
Right.
I'm not sure. I wonder how many people are going to be mad that I didn't put Miami in that top 3. But
I think Brooklyn is the best team in the East.
Yes, and Milwaukee is still very
Kevin
good,
Durant.
so they're right behind. And Chicago's like my 3. Like Chicago has the talent when everybody's not healthy, and when like you don't have to have Stanley Johnson enter the realm to play some minutes. You know, God, Stanley Johnson.
Get resurrected from the G League.
Yeah, when this team is hot, I wish they would, honest to God, take more threes. I feel like that they're a very low tendency 3-point team, and I feel like they can make it too.
It's a shame that DeMar's COVID protocols happen now.
Yeah, my man is on a tear.
Well, and I'm pretty sure tonight or last night is the first night of All-Star voting, and he 100,000%
deserves to make an All-Star team.
Should be starting for the All-Star game in the Eastern Conference.
I didn't see him making this much of an impact when that.
I think I would argue that he should be the number 1 vote getting fired in the Eastern Conference.
He should be up there easily. Yeah. So now, this team is a powerhouse. Like even Caruso.
2.2 steals per game.
Yeah, like Caruso's playing good. Everybody's playing out their mind. Lonzo Ball's hitting threes. You know what I mean? Zach LaVine is Zach LaVine. He just continues to get better. And like even Vucevic isn't what he was perhaps when he made the All-Star team in Orlando, but he's still something. And I think didn't he just get back a couple weeks ago from the COVID protocol?
Yeah, he was out there too.
Yeah, so now he's back, and now all of a sudden all these people are leaving. I don't think it's going to affect him too much as long as no, God forbid, knock on wood, season barring injuries happen.
Ayo Dosunmu.
Ayo Dosunmu's actually kind of been a hit, I think.
He is
yeah.
right there, right? Not rookie of the year, but he's on pace to make an all rookie first team, I think, right now. Especially on the team that he's on, the impact he's had on that team.
I mean, him this year and Patty, DePaul. Pat Will last year.
Pat Will.
DePaul, have been really, really good pickups for them. So, yeah, this team is definitely a powerhouse of the East. I said if this team didn't make a 6 seed or higher, then this experiment has failed. They are definitely at where I hoped they would be. As will they actually make. If they have to go against a Miami or a Milwaukee or a Brooklyn to make it into the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm still a little shaky on that. I just don't know if I want to see them in a big moment and see if they shrivel up or because this is regular season is important, but postseason is everything. You know what I mean? So it's like this team could be this, and then all of a sudden we get to the postseason and their first round exits. You know what I mean? I hope not. I think they are going to at least make the second round. But they definitely have the talent and the potential. I think you would agree to make an argument to make the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think DeMar DeRozan is on pace to be an All-NBA performer, possibly even first team. He's having a better season than Luka is right now. The only guard that's played better than him is Steph Curry, I think.
Yeah, Steph Curry's kind of
he's in his own world.
in his league of his own. He's
aside from Kevin Durant.
Like this is Steph's MVP season to me to lose.
Yeah, but he and DeMar, I think right now would be the starting. I mean, DeMar is still, to me, just because he was shoehorned in at shooting guard for so many years in Toronto, will always be a shooting guard. But
let's make Curry and DeRozan captains.
But now I don't know what position he really is because he played a lot of power forward with the Spurs. He's obviously not the shooting guard with Zach.
No,
LaVine.
I think he's a small forward. I think that's just kind of to me always is. I mean, he plays shooting guard in Toronto, and he's played a good amount of power forward in San Antonio. But I think he's a small forward. I think. I've kind of just always seen him because he's got good size and he's not a awesome 3-point shooter, but he's pretty damn good mid range, and he's able to take it to the rack. So I don't know, very stereotypical like small forward to me. Right. I think is where you'd probably place him.
I think even with the forwards, he would sneak in the Eastern Conference. KD and Giannis would get the most votes definitely, and then it's just a matter of do you make it over Embiid, and really that's it.
He's going to be on this all-star team, barring anything unforeseen. It's just, is he going to be a starter or is he going to be a reserve?
He's currently fourth in points per game at 26.4, which I didn't see.
That's awesome from him. Yeah, I didn't see the impact. I didn't see this immediate and this outstanding of an impact so quickly.
And moving on to another player who I think has had an incredible impact. I'm just going to say it. I told Nate this before we recorded, how it was something I wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
I think that right now there is a clear hierarchy in the NBA. Kevin Durant is the best player in the league, in my opinion.
Not according to Stretch.
I definitely could see how some people say Steph Curry. I'm not mad if you say Steph Curry.
No, there's a couple players in the league. If you want to say Giannis, if you want to say Steph.
I disagree with the Giannis take.
Wow, you don't think?
It's KD.
He's up there, though. Come on, man.
KD and Steph are number 1 and 2. There's a large gap, I think, after them.
I'm not saying he's my 1 or 2. What I'm saying is, if you want to mention him in your top, I wouldn't be opposed. You can't sit here and tell me you wouldn't hear out a Giannis argument.
I would hear out a Giannis argument.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Tell you the player that's above them, the player that might even be the best player in the NBA right now, and that's Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is insane.
It's getting. I'll put it into perspective for me as a person who doesn't want to lose this take. It's getting harder and harder for me to put Embiid over him in my mind.
Jokic is probably the third best player, if not higher in the NBA.
He's incredible. I don't know what. Tell me what he really doesn't do well.
He's had a great defensive rating this season. Player efficiency rating.
Better defense. That's what I knocked on him last year. Why I put him over Embiid was because I was much higher on Embiid's defense, but he's playing pretty outstanding defense from what I've seen.
He's tied 5th in points per game, 2nd in rebounds.
This is not a surprise to us, though.
Yeah, but he just is getting thrown under the radar so much, even though he's...
I think it is because he's a center. There's a little. I feel like there's always been a little bias towards centers as top players.
Denver hasn't been great this year, but with all the injuries, no Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. did play, but not well. I mean, he was basically mindless until he got injured.
Quick question: is Michael Porter Jr. worth his max extension so far?
Heck no. Who knows if he's ever on a basketball court again? This might be a Markelle Fultz situation where it's like the nerve damage in the shoulder that never gets fixed. Michael Porter Jr.'s got this damage in the back that just seemingly...
And all of a sudden, Denver's put themselves in a horrible position from what they thought was a brilliant signing.
Yeah.
Apparently something I, in a million years, would never do to an unproven Michael Porter Jr. Like, the kid's good when he's on the court. Yeah, sorry, I had a hiccup. No, I'm saying he's good on the court, but what does he make? What was the extension?
205, I think.
$205 million over what, four or 5 years?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, that move baffled me still. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, Jokic is the heart of soul of this team, and he's just one of the best players in the league. Like, he's definitely in my top 5. Like, he has to be.
Yeah.
He's earned a spot in your top 5. Everyone's top 5 should have him in it because he's earned a spot.
He's definitely leapfrogged Doncic for me. I had Doncic over him. He's leapfrogged LeBron. I think I had him over LeBron in my top 25 video last year. Or not last year, but over the summer.
I mean, I had LeBron in my 5, so Jokic can go ahead and take his spot. Like, jump in and knock him back.
He's leapfrogged Kawhi, as Kawhi has not played. He's just incredible. He's so good. He's so fun to watch.
There's some things that he does that he just shouldn't be able to do at his size and as a center. Like,
yeah.
It's just remarkable, honestly.
I think he's in sole possession of that third spot, that second tier of NBA players. You got Curry and KD, who I think are top tier, and then you got kind of Jokic and Giannis in that third, fourth tier, second tier as third to fourth best players in the league.
Yes.
And then after that, it kind of gets a little bit more messy.
Yeah.
But I think that's the clear top 4 right now. So, is there anything else you want to touch on? I've thrown out a couple things. Anything you want to mention?
Not really. I think we're good. Unless there's another team that real quick you want to go over. Any team that really interests you. You just want to get something off your chest.
I do want to say that
we can like praise Washington because like I didn't see this coming, or like we can talk about the tight race. Who's better, Golden State or Phoenix?
Or I can praise Kevin Huerter.
You can also do that.
Because since he's entered the starting lineup for the Atlanta Hawks, they have improved so much. DeAndre Hunter's injury was a blessing in disguise because the Hawks are just straight up better when Kevin Huerter is on the court. And it feels good to say that because I love Kevin Huerter. I'm a Maryland fan.
Maryland boy. Yeah,
Huerter went to Maryland, and as such, I will always love Kevin Huerter. And it just is awesome to see the other night he had 28 on 7 for 11 from 3.
Question, how does it feel to have a love-hate relationship with the Atlanta backcourt?
Trae Young has grown on me.
Loves Huerter, hates
Trae Young has grown on me a ton. Although I will say, that Philadelphia game, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weekends ago, he made me extremely angry, Trae Young did, because they had that game in the bag in that fourth quarter, and Trae Young attempted so many dumb shots and refused to pass the ball. But the Hawks, they're 13-12 right now, with no Bogdanovich, no Cam Reddish, no DeAndre Hunter. Solomon Hill is out for the season. They're looking really good, and Kevin Huerter is the number one reason why.
You took such pleasure in saying that.
Just
the smile on your face.
He's the X factor. He is the A through Z factor. He's the Red Mamba. He's the Red Mamba for sure.
Yeah. I mean, so far this has been a very good NBA season. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Very entertaining. Some surprises, some not so surprises.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know. Lakers is just I know they're the 6th seed, but they're just a weird one to me, man.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like maybe I'm the only one that maybe not everybody feels this way, but they signed all these really good like reserve pieces that are supposed to be like nice shooters, and I feel like they're super underperforming.
They are.
From a perimeter shooting standpoint.
Anthony Davis is underperforming.
Yeah, that's sad to see because I love AD. It's just I love the former unibrow.
And another team.
That's it. He should bring back the unibrow.
Another team we got to talk about. We would be insane to not talk about. Is the 7-game win streak Houston Rockets. Because what in the heck?
Yeah, 1-16. Now all of a sudden they're in the 13th seed.
After Jalen Green got injured.
They're above OKC now.
I hate to say it, but I think Jalen Green was my Rookie of the Year pick at the beginning of the season.
See, mine was Evan Mobley, who I think has been playing some. But Jalen Green, I think, has played a good amount better.
The Mobley?
Yeah. I think Mobley's been playing solid.
Mobley is definitely number 1 in Rookie of the Year. Up there with he and Scotty Barnes are 1 and 2. Jalen Green is probably not even top 5. Your team cannot go on a 7-game win streak when you get injured. And then you cannot make an argument that is the best rookie.
Don't hate on him, man.
I'm not hating on him, but there is no way.
How would you feel if you're a rookie and then everyone's like, you're trash, your team went 7 games in a row without you?
I'm not saying he's trash, but I'm saying there's clearly a problem with Jalen Green if his team is 7-0 when he doesn't play. That's pretty hilarious.
This is the Houston Rockets. For all we know, those are the last 7 games they win.
That is true.
Come on now. Any team can get a hot start and go. I mean, like, for Houston, it's a very big hot start.
For the league, it's very big.
Yeah, 7 games is impressive. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, let's cut. Yeah, Evan Mobley is freaking incredible.
And Scotty.
Everyone mocked me because in my fantasy basketball, I took Evan Mobley. Shot in the dark. Evan Mobley's been fantastic for a rookie, baby.
I would probably pick him right now, but I just have such a weird love relationship with the Toronto Raptors. I don't know why, but I've always just...
You like Scotty Barnes up there.
Well, even last year, or the year the Raptors missed the playoffs completely, which might have been last year. The years get so... With COVID, every year is the same now. 2019 through now is just kind of one big year. But I think it was the year after they made it to the conference finals, or the conference semifinals, lost to the Celtics. Even when Philadelphia was the number 1 seed, I remember I was taken behind the wheel, and my instructor was a basketball fan. And Toronto was maybe over 500 for the first time of the season. And I was like, if the Raptors and the 76ers face off in the playoffs, I know Philadelphia is the best team in the East right now, best team in the league. But I'm taking the Toronto Raptors. Like, I've just, for whatever reason...
Well, look how that turned out.
...been permanently high on the Toronto Raptors. In Kyle Lowry as well. I think I said he was the 11th best player a year or two ago. I don't know why. I just attached to Toronto.
Toronto's got a nice, pish pause of really awesome pieces, like Precious.
They are
Barnes,
the golden standard for how you run a franchise. For the last decade.
Yeah, they've been consistently in playoff contention, consistently there. Outside of maybe the Tampa Bay Raptor days.
That was rough. That season was rough.
That was a rough one, and I really can't blame them on that one because playing every game, away game, basically is kind of a...
It's rough. It's not easy.
Wasn't an easy season.
No.
It probably should have done worse than they did.
I agree, yeah. So any last things you want to touch up on?
Celtics, get your crap together. I'm upset with you. Marcus Smart, your shots, they're just not dropping, okay? And I love you, dude, but, if you don't chill, I want you gone. What else?
I've been saying this forever.
Aaron Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard, dog, y'all are having too mediocre of a season for what I saw in the summer league. Especially Aaron Nesmith. Come on, man. And what else? What else can I say about the Celtics? Tatum, he's starting to get it kind of together. Jaylen Brown is Jaylen Brown. Grant Williams.
Jaylen Brown is injured.
Yeah, injured. Oh, God.
Grant Williams is 50, 40, 90.
I don't care. I hate Grant Williams. I don't care how good he does. I just want him gone.
Yeah, Grant Williams is fun to dislike.
If we start, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. If we start relying on Grant Williams to carry and do, the majority of, defense and things of that nature and guarding their best, come on, bro. We're doomed.
Yeah.
We are doomed. Josh Richardson, I'd rather have Moses Brown right now if I'm being completely honest.
So bad at basketball.
I humored you, dude, when you were in Miami. You were solid. I humored you even a little bit in Dallas, or Philly, whatever. And Dallas was something.
He played himself off the court in Dallas.
But come on, bruh. I don't know. I'm in a love-hate relationship with my team.
I can tell.
Because there's times I watch and I love what I see, and there's times that I just want to rip my hair out of my skull. It's just what are you doing? But you know what? At the end of the day, I can take comfort because at least we didn't lose by 73 like one of these teams.
Yeah. That was a rough night for the OKC Thunder. I do want to point out they didn't have Josh Giddey or Shai Gilgeous.
I don't care. 73 points, man.
And let's not forget that the Memphis Grizzlies are currently on the second longest winning streak in the league. Or no, they're not. They just... What? Oh, I guess... I don't
know, man. You wrote it.
I wrote L1, so I guess they're on a one-game... I'm trying to think who they played last
I'm sorry.
night.
They lost by 73 points, and then they only scored 74 points.
They were temporarily on the second longest winning streak in the NBA, without John Morant, mind you. And they had their defensive rating was 90, the best by far in the NBA. So, OKC was going up against apparently the greatest defense in NBA history. So,
honestly, though,
do with that what you must.
At the end of the day, I don't want to question if Boston is still, because my ceiling for them is play-in tournament. But
Your ceiling for them.
That is my ceiling for them, honestly. Because this is just a very transition-y, limbo, mediocre year.
Yeah.
Because, like, right now, it's just, like, it's something, like, they're not god-awful, but they're also not a real contender. And it's like, when I look and I see the Knicks, if the Knicks get it together, you know what I mean? If Charlotte keeps it up, if Toronto gets its crap together, Atlanta, if Cleveland stays where it is, where does that leave room for Boston in that equation?
It doesn't.
Outside of the play-in tournament, like the 11th or 12th seed. Down with the Orlandos and Indianas of the world.
That's rough.
Heck, for all I know, Indiana could finish better than us.
I do have one more question for you. This is just straight up. I think this is the most even conferences have felt in a really long time.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a clear conference which is better?
No.
Do you think there is a conference which is better?
No, I can't. Like, if you had asked me this 3 years ago, easily, we knew what conference was better. But right now, the East is starting to pick it up this game. I mean, you're getting Washington interrupting here. You're getting Chicago interrupting here. You're getting Cleveland entering up. You're getting Charlotte entering up. All of a sudden, it's clearly just as stacked in the East with competition. And we might see some very close playoff racing coming down to the wire, reminiscent to what we saw every year in the West.
Right.
There's so many. There was always like 10, 11, 12 teams that always had a shot. Maybe like 10, 11 teams that always had a real shot.
Yeah.
You had your Sacramentos, you know what I mean? You had your certain teams. But like the East, there's a good 10, 11 teams here too. And I could see at least making playoff spots.
13.
Yeah, outside of Orlando and Detroit. Poor Detroit, man.
At least Cade is pretty good.
Cade's pretty good, but I feel
And
like
they had that big beef stew the other night. Not the other night, a couple weeks ago when beef stew went after LeBron.
Yeah, how did you feel about this situation, by the way? Who was to blame for that?
LeBron is 100% to blame.
Yeah,
if LeBron did that on the street, he'd be arrested for assault.
It was hard for me because when I first saw it, I thought it was a dude get off me, like kind of like shove, like right. Dude get off me, but like I didn't really see any. I don't think it was malice intent, but it might have been.
It was malice at the palace.
But I think my favorite part was just my man Stewart was bulldozing people to get through. Like he was charging. He wanted LeBron's head on a platter, bro. He was
that was big trouble at Little Caesars.
King or no king, I'm coming for you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I would be pretty mad too if someone punched me in the eye. Not even an elbow. That was straight closed fist to the eye. And I don't know who would win that battle. Beef Stew was big, and he was angry.
Detroit's got some interesting pieces too. I feel like Cade though, like he's been good, but like, is he going to be worth when we look 3-4 years down the line? Is he going to be worth number one overall pick? Like, is he? Because like when I remember I swear the like aura around Cade was like, this dude is generational. This dude is special, which they say probably about one player every single year.
Yeah.
But it's like, is he? I mean, like, I've seen flashes. I think he's good, but is he superstar material down the line?
I think we might see like an Anthony Edwards situation where he's still really darn good.
Yeah.
But LaMelo Ball is franchise altering.
Like, when I look back on this 3-4 years from now, am I taking him over Scotty Barnes, over an Evan Mobley, over people like that?
Well, the one thing about Cade is he really fits the modern NBA. He's a 6'5" point guard. So that works in his favor a lot. But Scotty Barnes fits the modern NBA just as well, as does Chris Bosh Jr., a.k.a. Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
So a lot of good like modern NBA guys, and then you got Jalen Suggs and Jalen Green, who are having rough seasons, both because their names are Jalen and because they're short, which is a bad combination in the NBA.
I mean, that's fair.
So
don't be named Jalen and don't be short, and you'll succeed.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
It's they work together right there. So you got any last thoughts, or we out of here?
What's a good last thought? Zion's enjoying that Louisiana cooking too much.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I can't even say that anymore because some photo came out today, and
he's thin.
Yeah, my friend hit me up. He's like, my boy Xander was like, he's James Harden. He's a shapeshifter. Because then you look at him with this picture of this nice couple, and he looks good. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Weird.
I saw him there's a photo of him on the court, and he looks like 350. Like, he looks, I'm like, oh my God.
And the new
Big Baby like, Davis
like
out
285.
here.
Like, he looks lean.
He's still too big for my liking. I'm still scared he's going to just destroy his ACLs and his ankles with his weight and the
he already started
and his play style. You know what I mean? His play style doesn't fit his size. It's like he's 6'7", 285, trying to be John Morant and Russell Westbrook, and like prime D. It just doesn't work for someone in his size. D Rose, it didn't work for him long at his size.
Yeah, I mean Russ, we like to talk bad about Russ, but it didn't work for him either. He got injured.
He's had some trouble.
The meniscus was kind of Patrick Beverley's fault.
Very athletic, throw it in your face, constantly jumping high. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just doesn't work, and it doesn't translate.
I just pray it doesn't happen to John Morant next.
Yeah, it just doesn't. John Morant, I think, can shoot better than both of them.
Well, yeah, I'm just worried that one day he's going to jump up, he's going to get hit, and
it's not going to be the same. I get it. Yeah, it's just like people like that, their game just doesn't translate anymore. Just similar to like why centers who can't at least shoot a bit are kind of becoming extinct. Outside of like some good example like Rudy Gobert's.
Right.
And like people like Andre Drummond are getting phased out. Like that stereotypical all defensive reboards. They just created a new term, guys. Rebounding and defensive end block your shot and doesn't have to really shoot and can go 1 of 20 like Shaq from the free throw or the 3-point line. You know what I mean?
Still make an impact.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like we're very much shifting away from that into a small ball era where every position needs to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Unless you are so good in the paint and on like that you don't need to be able to shoot, which not many players can say that nowadays or coming up in the future.
I just thought of another thing that we would have been insane not to touch on.
Huh. Hit me.
Like we mentioned earlier, Curry is 10 threes away from the all-time record.
Don't remind me, because my favorite player of all time...
Now, last game, he kind of forced it. He went 6 for 17 against Portland. Next 3 games, we got an at Philadelphia versus Seth Curry.
He's probably looking to do it in the next game.
We got an at Indiana. If Curry does it against Indiana, I think the league should end. That's not good. That would be terrible. We got an at MSG. Which one of these 3 games? Because there is no way.
I mean, one is a compelling storyline to break the record at Madison Square Garden. Wait, I'm so bad because he's my favorite player, but I can't remember. Didn't Ray Allen set the record? Or like he beat Reggie Miller's record at Madison Square Garden?
I don't know, but
I swear to God, like Reggie Miller was there. But yeah, Ray Allen's my favorite player of all time. And to see Steph Curry only 10 threes away with like 600 less games.
Yeah.
It's sad, but like, I knew this day would come.
Do you think he'll do it in one of these next 3 games?
He has to. Oh, come on. Yes. He's going to hit 10 threes in one of the next 3 games.
Does he do it against which team, though?
He does. You know what he does?
Well, here's my question. If he hits 4 threes against Philadelphia, should they rest him? And then, because if he sets the record at Indiana, that would be a bad look. It just can't happen in Indiana.
What's going to happen is, Matt, is the next game, he's going to hit 4. Then he's going to hit 5 against Indiana.
To tie him.
And then he's just going to need to hit 1 at Madison.
That would be awesome if he breaks it at MSG.
I tell you what, though, if anyone believes that major sports in the U.S. are rigged, he'll break it at Madison Square Garden.
He'll break it. Adam Silver's gonna say, "Hey man, if you break
can you just hold out until like?
Can you just break it
at Madison, like one of the most famous.
Can you re-injure your tailbone up until you get back into the Golden State arena, into the Chase Center once?
You can only hit mid ranges for these next. You can get a maximum of 6 threes and only hit mid ranges. As many mid ranges as you want.
The only way it would be acceptable is if he hits like 17, is if he hits like 15 threes
if he just goes off
Indiana, and then it's like, oh, so he broke the all-time record and also hit the most in the game.
Doesn't
Clay had his 60 on 11 against Indiana.
Wait, does Clay hold the all-time record?
Yeah, 14 against Chicago.
That's right.
I mean, Clay did have his 60 points on 11 dribbles against Indiana.
Isn't it Clay, Curry, Levine?
Curry and Levine are tied with 13, yeah. So it's an interesting little storyline that will probably already be all fleshed out by the time.
I would bet money it happens at Madison Square Garden.
I would be insane.
I would bet money because that would be crazy. Heck, that's probably even a selling point right now for tickets.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Curry, 2 games before this one, he's poised to set the NBA. Get your seats. You want to be here for when this crowd goes absolutely bonkers.
And Golden State fans like to travel.
Oh yeah.
They don't stay in one spot for too long.
I admire that about them. Some stands only come to home games. They're
everywhere.
They take over stadiums.
It would be cool to do it against his brother, though.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be like, hey, little bro, let me just drop 10 on your head real
Right.
quick.
So I think that's
I think that's it. We talked a good amount.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Debate Mates, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.